Oh, can we... I just want to read this so that I can say my piece and we can move on from this forever. I hate these conversations, okay? Did that woman from Facebook last night remove you? Nope. And she never responded either, so fuck them. Okay. My position. This is this guy's position, okay? The average person does not have the authority or obligation to kill humans or higher conscious animals, period. The animal being on your property or on your property doesn't change that. Exceptions are self-defense in extreme cases, mercy killings, etc. Even if in your country or state Roman cats are forbidden, you should always be forced, at least morally, to use non-lethal options. I personally am fine with chasing animals away or kicking them, as long as it's without the intent to hurt or cripple. Cats should be allowed to roam as long as it does not lead to meaningful problems on average. Hunting and exploring a little bit is part of their drive and nature. A serious problem is that cats and wildcats can breed like crazy and threaten the wildlife. That's why they get castrated, and that solves the issues. Castrated cats in general roam and mark territory less. The world is not just for human society. If we can manage to coexist with animals and wildlife, then we should go that route. Having a neighbor's cat visit your garden sometimes without constantly shitting or scratching something or leaving dead animals on your porch is reasonable and acceptable. It is to be treated as natural and similar to wildlife, even though the cats are often owned by people. Cats don't attack humans. They will always and constantly try to flee at the sight of a human, or when annoyed and backed into a corner at most, hiss and swipe in the general direction of the attacker. They're not a threat to your kids. They are not a threat in terms of disease, as long as experts in your city haven't given a warning. A few cats in the neighborhood do not cause any trouble, really. They mostly check out the area, hunt mice and birds, and socialize a bit with other cats. Depends on the area, it's case by case. In rural and suburban areas, letting cats free roam is basically a non-issue for most cats, but in dense cities, it can become risky for the cat if it's close to a lot of traffic, especially when the cat is stupid. Even in city corners, you'd want to keep it down to a few houses before feeding, probably. Or you'd want to keep it down to a few hours before feeding, probably. In my case, Germany. I have personally owned castrated house cats that lived outside on our property. I grew up with a house cat that also once scratched me pretty badly when I pissed it off. I have made no negative experiences with wild cats visiting our property, even when they came every other day when we had no cats of our own to defend the territory. I personally would always expect to be able to let my cat roam if I owned one and lived in rural or suburban areas. If someone killed my cat or neighbor's cat for no good reason, which will be the case pretty much always, I would probably at least consider retaliation. If my cat would shit on my neighbor's property constantly or meaningfully bother them, then I would of course take it seriously, or for example suggest putting a cat toilet on their property that I would take care of. Stuff like that. There are probably options. Wasn't that big a fan of the extreme arguments and accusations that Destiny threw around. He was only mentioning extreme scenarios of every cat fucking up the neighbor's plants, and constantly going back on the property argument. And then he said something like, I think we will never agree on this. People are too emotionally attached to their pets and not thinking straight. A little bit of a straw man, and I do think this is worth discussing. Okay. Let me go over my big comment, okay? Because I tried really hard to I applied the new things that I've learned about arguing with people. I didn't call this guy a retard. Okay. As a quick aside, private property and property rights are really big things to us Americans. So important that we're allowed to kill intruders who trespass in some states without the duty to retreat, right? So my first clause, I want to establish that Americans believe in private property rights. Now, I know that most countries, if not all countries in the Western world, have private property rights. I don't know exactly how Europe guys view your private property, or if that's the same in the United Kingdom and Germany and whatnot. I don't know how it goes, if you guys are allowed to like run through neighbors' yards or hop fences into. I don't know if that's true or not. So I'm only speaking as an American, okay? I don't know the local property laws and whatnot in Germany and the United Kingdom and France and shit, okay? So I'm explaining from the perspective of an American, okay? Your land is your land and your home is your home. You should not have to deal with, from an American point of view, any unreasonable intrusions. Wildlife, such as birds or squirrels, are always to be expected. I acknowledge this. Though you could very well lay traps for these, should you desire. You can lay a trap for a squirrel or for a raccoon or for a bird in your backyard, right? You can do this in America. Nobody's going to get mad at you for it. House cats are most certainly not native nor wildlife. They are not native and they are not wildlife. and they are commonly the property of another person. You wouldn't allow your neighbor to store any object without your permission on your property, especially one that could do damage to it. So I don't see how or why an exception would be made for an animal. If it gets on someone else's property, that person should be allowed to kill the cat. I was a little extreme on the stream. You probably shouldn't just kill the cat. I said as much insofar as shooting it. It would be stupid to do this in city limits, and you're not going to run out with an axe or something. Calling animal control is definitely a fair game, at a bare minimum, though. The average person does not have the authority or obligation to kill humans or animals, period. Okay, this is not true. You have the right to defend yourself, and as I stated earlier, in some cases your land, against another person. For farmers, you could also be protecting your livestock, though that's not really relevant here. I personally am fine with chasing animals away or kicking them as long as it's without the intent to hurt or cripple the animal. If a cat is on my property, either attacking my child or doing damage to my property, I'm not going to be too concerned with how hurt the cat gets while I'm trying to remove him from my property. If you care about your cat, don't let him roam onto other people's property. What if I let my dog out back and he comes across your cat and they get into a lethal exchange? Am I to be held liable for that? I think this is a fair game. Let's say I have a backyard and I've got an electric fence set up and I let my cat or a dog or something go out back. If a cat wanders into my property, it could 1, kill a smaller dog, or 2, be killed by my dog. If my dog kills your cat, are you going to come and retaliate against me for that? Are you going to come and try to beat me up because I was irresponsible with my dog in my own backyard? What if my dog gets into a lethal exchange with your cat and my dog kills your cat, but your cat injures my dog? Am I allowed to sue you for that? Would you be upset because your cat is dead and I wouldn't have any, cat? And these are and everything is, these are very fair use. These are very fair use scenarios. These are good faith, fair scenarios. Okay, people have electric fences in the United States. People let dogs out into their backyard. These are very fair. These are very common scenarios. Okay, I'm not using anything extreme here, right? This is a cats should be allowed to roam as long as it does not lead to meaningful problems on average. Cats destroy the environments they are brought to. The native animals have had no time to adapt and learn to deal with cats that are transplanted into new environments. So here are some quotes that I pulled from a couple articles. Domestic cats kill many more birds in the United States than scientists thought, according to a new analysis. Cats may rank as the biggest immediate danger that living around people brings to wildlife, researchers say. America's cats, including house cats that adventure outdoors and feral cats, kill between 1.3 billion and 4.0 billion birds in a year, says Peter Mara of the Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute in Washington, D.C., who led the team that performed this. It was a meta-analysis of studies. Okay. Roaming cats most certainly cause destruction to their environments. I don't believe this is up for debate. Okay. Hunting and exploring a little bit is part of their drive and nature. If you believe it is in an animal's nature to hunt and explore and you care so much about these animals, why are you purchasing them and enslaving them as a pet? I don't understand how anyone can hold these positions without severe cognitive dissonance. Do you get visibly upset every time you walk around inside your house and see your cat inside, knowing that you're depriving it of its primal nature? I don't understand this argument that, well, my cat really wants to be outdoors. Well, why are you buying animals that are meant to be outside if that's how you really feel? But having a neighbor's cat visit your garden sometimes without constantly shitting or scratching something or leaving dead animals on your porch is reasonable and acceptable. Why? What if it's a dog? What about neighbors' kids? If you have a good relationship and a pre-existing agreement with your neighbor, sure, but your objects do not have the right to spend any time on my property. Why would you assume otherwise? The next quote, cats don't attack humans. So this is from the WHO. Worldwide, cat bites account for 2 to 50% of injuries related to animal bites. They are commonly second to dog bites in terms of incidence. In Italy, for example, the incidence of cat-related injuries is 18 per 100,000 population, while in the United States, there are an estimated 400,000 cat bites and 66,000 visits to hospital emergency departments every year. So cats don't attack humans is blatantly wrong, okay? Somebody in chat just said, enslaving them. You are exaggerating, Destiny. Not all people do this. When you own an animal, you are enslaving that animal. You can call it whatever other euphemistic term you want, but an animal that you own is your slave. They are a slave by definition because they do not have the freedom to leave. Okay? If you do get bitten by an animal and don't know whose it is, oh yeah. So yeah, and that's too. If an animal comes by your property and bites you, then you have to get rabies shots. If you can't capture the animal, verify the owner, or crush the animal's skull and analyze the brain matter for rabies. A few cats in the neighborhood do not cause any trouble, really. This is very subjective and somewhat factually incorrect, as earlier stated. So, I feel I have made far more than a sufficient argument against the allowance of free-roaming cats insofar as the property owner is concerned. The only arguments that are in favor of the animal owner is that the cat might possibly feel better to get outside and hunt or roam. I would point out that it is entirely possible to take your cat outside under supervision and allow him to roam and mark your own property before returning him indoors. I would also argue, from the point of view of the cat, keeping it indoors and not allowing it to roam will likely significantly increase its lifespan. I've read anything from it will double its lifespan to increase it by 4 to 5 years, but obviously increased. I don't understand how you can have any more than a purely emotional argument in favor of this practice. All right. Okay. Why do cats die faster outside? They're more likely to be involved in some sort of a fatal accident, and they also pick up more bacteria and viruses and whatnot by being outside. So our first response is this Destiny's libertarian right youth coming back out? A very militant private property position. So again, and I've noticed this is generally in people in general, so I am very respectful of other people's property. Maybe that respect is not shared, okay? If somebody is going to work through their life to purchase some sort of property, why do you think you have a right to infringe on that property? And why would you accuse the other person of being militant when they want to defend their rights to own that property? I don't understand this argument. I do admit that I guess maybe I am libertarian at heart insofar as some things go, but I don't think this is a militant private property position. If somebody is doing the necessary work and has acquired the sufficient funds to purchase a piece of property, why would you presume to intrude on that property with yourself or an animal and then be upset when they're offended by it? Keep your cats off my lawn. Whoa, calm down there, Hitler. Murdering an animal that poses no threat is necessary for defending your property. So you don't necessarily have to murder it. You could call animal control or whatever, which may eventually lead to the animal getting killed. But like, the problem, this is the big problem that I've noticed with you guys, is that you guys are assuming, you're assuming innocence when you've already violated somebody's rights. Like, this is your problem. This would be the equivalent of me walking up and sitting in your car seat, and then you come out to your car and you like freak out, like, what the fuck are you doing in my car? It's like, whoa, hold on. Firstly, I didn't hurt you, okay? I'm just sitting here in your car or on your car. I didn't hurt you at all. Firstly. Secondly, can you prove that I'm going to do anything bad to you? Can you prove that I'm going to break your car? I haven't done anything bad at all. Okay. Like, why would you just come out here and just because I'm sitting on your car, you automatically assume that that's not okay, right? You would never accept this argument in any other circumstance. You would never accept it, right? Because by default, it's your property. If somebody wants access to your property, okay? If somebody wants access to it, they have to ask permission. That's just how polite society works, right? If I own property, okay? If I own property and somebody infringes on that or trespasses, right? No, what the fuck? I don't have to make an argument for you to leave. You have to give me a compelling reason to stay. You have to ask me for permission to come onto my property. I think you might also be assuming other people are equally bothered by their rights to be trampled on, but many other people are at most slightly bothered. That's fine, but that's not how you... Dude, come on! You can't go around assuming. You realize how much of an asshole that makes you sound? I can't tell if I'm crazy. Hold on. Okay. There are people that I can walk up and give a hug without really knowing them very well. We agree on that there are a lot of people that I could walk up and give a hug to and it wouldn't really bother them. However, I would not walk up to a stranger and just give them a hug because there is a chance that that could be really uncomfortable or offensive to them. Do you understand why it's rude to presume that they wouldn't feel offended or uncomfortable by me walking up and imposing a hug on them? Do you understand that? So when you say something like, well, most people wouldn't care if a cat was on their lawn, that may very well be true. To be honest, I wouldn't really give a fuck. If I looked out back and there was a cat wandering around, I probably wouldn't care, right? I probably wouldn't. But not everybody feels that way. And it's rude of you to assume that somebody doesn't care about you infringing on them because most people wouldn't. That's not how a polite person functions in society. Move on to the topic in another area. Consider noise ordinances. Some people are absolutely bothered by even minor noise from neighbor. Other people are at such volume. No. Stop doing, this is a bad analogy because noise can propagate from one property to another without it ever actually physically being on your property. If you want to compare it to something more fair, how about playing a song on a stereo that you put in your neighbor's yard? That would be a more fair analogy. Don't do this bullshit like, well, what if somebody shouts from, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to mischaracterize you, okay? It's not fair to say that, like, oh, well, that guy's lights are very bright in his house, or he's making a lot of noise, and, I don't think, well, what about that case? Well, no, we're talking about a cat physically being on your property, okay? Trespassing on your property, okay? It's not the same as sound waves coming over. It would be more akin to somebody resting a stereo in your yard and playing loud music, okay? Why are you spurring out about this? I don't know, dude, because I'm an American and I value my private property, and all of you fucking ass-paying fucking dipshits in chat that were screaming for Brexit sovereignty won't even respect the sovereignty of my private fucking property that I pay taxes on, motherfuckers. Considering that a cat is probably in his natural habitat, doesn't mean that you're the one infringing on his light. Cats' natural habitat is not here. Cats are transplanted animals. They're not normal. They're not native to the United States. I don't think at all. Are cats native in any part of the United States? And they're not wild animals. You can't buy an animal, transplant it to an area, let it outside, and then say that, like, and then let it say that this is the native area of the cat now. That's not what native means. What? Yeah, I know, like, mountain lions and shit are, but not house cats. Destiny in real life. If a human is trespassing on a cat's property, can the cat kill a human? No, because cats don't own property, because slaves are not allowed to own property. I'm not sure the nativeness of an animal is relevant here, but it is! If I were to buy 20 dogs, put them in my backyard and release them, and they start running all over the neighborhood, and my neighbors were like, dude, the fuck? There's dogs running all over the place. And I was like, yo, dude, they're just animals, man. Let them roam and be free. Dude, they just want to be free, dog. Look at him go, man. He's so happy, dude. He's fucking wild and free, man. Just chill, dude. Just chill, man. Let him be chill. They aren't causing any problems, dude. They're wiener dogs, man. In my opinion, Destiny, calling house pets slaves are the same as calling a vagina a wound. Okay, let me put it this way, okay? If you purchased a human, forbade them from ever leaving the house, didn't let them eat of their own volition, you only fed them when you decided they were ready to be fed, okay? You disciplined them and ordered them around, okay? Sit, roll over, stand. You gave them treats for doing shit, okay? You locked them in a room at night to sleep or gave them a box to shit or piss in, okay? These are slaves. Animals are slaves. A child is not a slave because a child grows up to assume its autonomy. Animals do not reach a certain... When animals grow up, you take them to a doctor and you kill them. What? What? A roaming cat doesn't listen to it. Yeah, sure, a roaming cat isn't really a slave, but if it's fucking walking around on my shit, then I throw a lawnmower at it. I don't know, dude. Yeah, a more apt term would be property. Pets are property. Not slavery is probably more extreme, but a pet would be property. Sure. Are you seriously going ballistic about the idea of a cat walking through your yard? Are you seriously so rude that you don't see why somebody would have a problem with that? I mean, like, that's just my thing, dude. I guess it's that people have, like, no common courtesy or just no respect for anybody else's shit, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it was my Christian upbringing that made me more traditional, but I feel like if I wanted, if your neighbor's Samsung S8 wandered onto your property, would you shoot it? I don't know, dude. It's entitlement. People want you to put up with their shit because it's a living being. Yeah, maybe. Do you get as mad when you see a bird land on your tree in your yard? I've already answered this a million times, dude. You can scroll back and look for it. When you move into a property, birds and squirrels and raccoons, first of all, aren't the property of another human being. And secondly, it's part of the wildlife. They're not transplanted animals brought here that are owned by other people. How do you expect the owner of a roaming cat to keep them from trespassing? It's not like... I don't expect them to have roaming cats near me.
Why do you keep talking as if outdoor cats is such a big problem to another person private property? You are not the only person on earth who cares about their property. Reason we don't have law against outdoor cats is because it's not a big issue.
Is it even... Do you think that's a troll donation?
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a cat in a cage. Teehee.
I don't know, dude. Like, let's say that I have a group of friends, and all of us like to share each other's phones. We pick up each other's phones, we take pictures with them, and it's like a funny meme. And that's what we do, and we're friends and we do that, okay? If I were to walk out into a school or a convention or something, and I meet some other people, okay? And I walk up to them, and one of their phones is sitting on the table, and I just pick up that phone, and I start taking pictures of people, right? And that person is like, dude, give me my phone back. What the fuck, dude? That's my phone. And you're like, whoa, dude. Hold on there, Hitler. Okay? I'm just taking pictures. It's cool, right? You're not the only person on the planet with a phone. I've got tons of friends, and we share each other's phones all the time. All I'm doing is taking pictures. There's no reason right now for you to be this upset about me just using your phone to take a picture. I don't understand why you would be so, like, freaked out. Like, I'm not hurting your phone. I'm not damaging it in any way. Like, I do this all the time with tons of my friends, right? Do you understand how rude that is? Do you understand how rude it is to presume on somebody else? Destiny, that is totally different, but I am telling you that it is not totally different. It's not. What? How is it? Okay, hold on. How many people here own... Okay. Do you own house? House plus car. Car. I do not own a house or a car. I'm just curious. I just want to see, okay? I don't know what the fuck this is, but okay. I get what you're saying, but that's a terrible analogy. Nivek Pro, do you want to come into Discord and tell me why that's a terrible... not disagreeing with you, but that poll proves nothing. I'm just curious if maybe, like, there's very few people that actually own anything. Like, if you don't have a house or a car, you don't see the big deal about, like, fucking with other people's shit. Maybe it's just not a big deal to you because you've never had to work for something or purchase something with your own money, right? Literally, you're sacrificing. You understand that every purchase you make, you're giving some of your life to do that? Do you understand that? Do you understand that currency you acquire, the only way that you get money is to trade life for it. You have to give hours, a limited amount. You only live so many hours in your life, okay? And you have to subtract those total hours from your life in exchange for currency to purchase an object, okay? If you're going to go through the trouble of working a job, okay, to acquire currency, to trade for an object, then you have every right to enjoy that object in whatever way you want. And if somebody else wants to fuck with it, it's totally up to you to tell somebody to fuck off. I suppose my only problem with this is we assume we have more right to something over animals, and this is only because we have conquered the land and created contracts that allow us to interact conveniently with other people, but this does not really have to do with rights, in my opinion. It's all about But Anna, but cats aren't around here! Cats don't live in places naturally! Cats are they're fucking property bought by other people! What are you talking? This would be like me buying fucking bulls and putting them in my fucking backyard and letting them roam through and fucking tearing up people's houses and shit. Be like, yo, dude, chill the fuck out, man. It's an animal, okay? It owns the earth, dude, just like we do, man. Don't fucking hurt my ravaging bull that's terrorizing the fuck out of my neighborhood. This is my shit, man. It's an animal. It's cool. We have to share the land. We have to learn to live with one another and love one another. Yeah, feral cats are literally, and outdoor cats are literally fucking vermin that destroy environments. They do not contribute anything good. They just kill shit and fuck shit up and leave bodies around and shit everywhere. And maybe attack people. Why do you keep comparing animals destroying property to a cat walking through your yard like they're exactly the same thing? Because it's about what it has the potential to do. You don't know when cats are wandering through your property if it's going to fuck something up or not. Much the same way that if you walk out to the parking lot and I'm sitting on your car, you don't know if I'm going to fuck shit up or not. And you're going to get me mad at me for doing
Destiny,
it.
I love animals more than humans.
Fuck up, kill yourself. You don't assume that somebody is, you're pretending there's like this innocence assumed of somebody that doesn't work when you're already trespassing. You are already trespassing on somebody's property. That object is trespassing my property. I'm not gonna assume anything good about it. Like, maybe it is just gonna walk through, but maybe it'll fuck something up, right? Like, would you feel the same way if a feral or wild chowder went to your backyard and fucked shit up and pooped everywhere? What do you think a cat is going to do? Okay, let's see. In no particular order. 1, cats will eat flowers or plants. This is something they do. I watch Aslan do. You could probably go on a fucking Aslan's Twitter and see him eating our fucking plants in the front yard. So 1, cats eat plants. 2, cats hunt and kill wild animals, okay? If you've got a fountain for birds to come and drink water from or like a little squirrel feeder, the cat might lurk around and try to hunt or stalk animals in the area and either kill them or scare them all off. 3, oftentimes cats will fucking leave corpses and shit in your yard or on your doorstep, okay? Which is pretty fucking annoying. 4, a cat could just shit on your property because why the fuck not? Maybe it will. Who the fuck
Destiny
knows?
forgets that animals are actually 20x more sacred than humans.
Sure. 5, a cat could tear a garbage bag open and get into trash to look for food, like a raccoon or some shit would. 6, maybe you have a smaller animal or a child that goes outside that the cat thinks it can fight, and when the animal approaches, or your child approaches, the cat decides to stand its ground and try to kill or attack the thing that's approaching, and then your child will be wounded or whatever, right? Those are like, just without even thinking hard, those are 6 reasons off the top of my head why I wouldn't want a cat to be on my property. Remember the amount of people that freaked out when a fucking lion died? Yeah, hippie. The real problem here is the cat's not getting married.
How was that a troll donation? Check my donation history. Letting your cats roam outside is legal all over the world. But because of one Facebook post about an outdoor cat, you are now going ballistic over outdoors cats intruding your private property.
Yeah, seriously, dude. That's a good comment in chat. You guys are giving more rights to cats than you would to fucking homeless people. If a homeless guy was wandering through your fucking backyard or sleeping in your backyard, would you be cool with that? Ruse, do you want to come on to Discord and talk about this? Are you a guy in chat? Ruse, who are you?
They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good cats. Be yourself.
Wait, this is not Aslan? Whose cat is this?
Can you kill or attack a door-to-door salesman on your property? What if he is a low IQ thug?
I'm trying to find a picture of Aslan eating shit. Look at this. Look at this fucker. Look at this cat intruding on my property. The sole bit of grass I had growing.
Destiny, I don't think people are getting this. Maybe a visual demonstration will work best. You should fire up PUBG and camp house to show people how to protect your property rights, my dude. Pep.
Unfucking believable. I'm not gonna find more pictures of him eating grass, am I? Look at him fucking up my yard! Look at him fucking my shit up! What if I had flowers growing under here? Well, look at this shit! He's destroying it all! Aslan. Look at him! Did you see him try to attack me? Who are saying, look, cats will run away if they're scared. Look, he doesn't try to- look, I try to push him off my property. Look, I'm trying to get off my property, cat! Get out of here, cat! Oh, and he bats at me! Look at those claws! Wolverine comes out to fucking fight! Oh, here goes to fuck more shit up. Fucking up my tree. He's gonna unroot my tree, dude. It needs the soil for nutrients. He's wiping it all away. Oh my fucking God.
Why is it okay to kill someone else's cat, their property, if they are on your property? But the restaurant owner can't assault ice on his own property. Nathan thinking.
Look at this shit, dude. This shit is ridiculous. It's okay for wild cats to do such things as wild animals? No, it's not! You would kick them off your property too!
Chech. I guess you didn't enjoy the Aristocats Kappa.
Holy shit. That's not Aslan. Look at that fucking face.
Cats are a danger to the environment.
Look at this ferocious fucking animal. Imagine trying to remove this from your backyard. Look at that shit. Look at the anger in these eyes. Look, see, this is how responsible cat owners walk their cats.
Okay, Destiny, let's debate. I added you on Skype. It's now pending.
What? I don't know. I don't see you having added me.
Look, this gingerbread man can actually
Fucking
Felines welcome.
If I'm walking, I think I was walking. If I'm walking Aslan and he does this shit, oh yeah, I think I am. And he starts to like, he does this shit where he gets on his back, I just drag him. Fucking cuck. I don't have time to wait around for him to figure his shit out.